when you're buying a used car, how important it is to do your research, right? Because even if you're going to do inspection, even if you're going to book inspection on CarExaminer, or I'm going to go and do an inspection for you, you know, car will be only as good as your knowledge and research about a particular vehicle you're buying and from where these vehicles are coming from, right? Let's have a look on this example, right? Mazda 6 2017 is getting into 8 years old. So it's not about this car, right? It's number plate start is SY, so that's an area code, right? So what I'm saying to you, so if you dig out where this car came from and you find out from seller information, or you do a car history check and see when the logbooks have changed, you can see obviously roughly for how long the person actually had this vehicle, right? So that's why you will find out for how long this vehicle particularly been potentially used in that area, right? So this one is from Sheffield, right? And what I'm saying, because it's more in the winter climate, like exactly the same thing and even worse will happen with cars from Scotland or some seaside towns where more salts and more unpleasant climate is there. So what climate does to the cars, this is getting into 8 years old, I think it's 7.5. You will have oxidation on a frames and mounts and support brackets, and you can see alloy wheels. Obviously this one sits on the winter tires, and same on the front alloy. So that means significant amount of oxidation happens, right? So this is when if you don't have just it's not a super knowledge, but it's just a bit digging in and find out how to find a car, right? So that means these cars will have, as any Japanese car, are more prone to corrosion. So if the vehicle is used in a winter climate where are more harsh climate conditions, this is what starts to happen, right? So you will have a surface corrosion, same on a chassis areas, you know, which obviously if you're buying something like that is expected. So as a few will be behind some of the plastics, because most modern cars have plastics also to protect from that sort of harsher environment, but on the suspension that's gonna reflect. So that means if you're buying old cars, right, it is your duty to find and research and get to the appropriate vehicle. If you don't want to do that, as you can see, somebody hit the bollard and sunk the seal area in, but obviously, or if you don't want to do, because it takes a long time to find a good used car, it sounds like it's easy, you're gonna go and buy the car, you know, everyone makes the mistakes. We gonna buy the car based on price, right? But none of the sellers will tell you why that price is that cheap, you know. So that's the one catch where everyone falls for, right? So if you do your basic due diligence, where the car comes from, for how long it's been in that area, if you have never known, just don't buy an old cars from anywhere, Midlands, you know, Scotland, Wales, you know, these are the areas where we'll have loads of snow, and this is what's gonna happen. Especially if you have low budget, you wanna sort of cheaper car, this is what you're gonna get, you know, and this would be sort of average, consistent with the age where this sort of vehicle has been used, you know. And obviously if you're gonna start improving the car, you're gonna strip down the side, you're gonna remove all the surface corrosions, because if you're gonna keep it for 4 or 5 years, that's gonna get even worse and worse and worse. And that means when you're gonna sell it, obviously condition gonna get gradually worse and worse and worse. So that means you ain't gonna be able to get the some sort of sensible price back, because the car is a depreciating asset and keeps deteriorating, right? So you're always losing money. So it's just to be aware of finding these little nuggets, right, when you're searching your car, take longer than being desperately jumping on things, you know, especially when the car gets older. It's harder to trace, you know, and obviously, like I said, inspection will not save you from misery. It can, right? But I mean, the inspection report will be according to what you have searched. It's not going to be better, you know. It's just going to get worse and open your eyes with the issues what the car has, because you haven't taken consideration where the car comes from, how long it's been used in that area, nature of corrosions and deterioration factor specifically, which is happening by nature and design in that area, you know, and that's what you're gonna get, you know. So but if you do that and pay attention to what you search and where the car comes from, you can particularly get much better, much smarter on a better car for the same price, for the better condition, better underside condition, and better general depreciation and deterioration from the age and environment factors, you know, which will make your ownership of the vehicle more pleasant, you know. Then when you're gonna go to your local garage, somebody start picking and saying, oh, what's that, and what's that, and only your sort of proud will just start deteriorating yourself, you know. And you start thinking, what have you purchased, you know. But it's just reality. So when you buy an older cars, make sure this is crucial. However, if you don't want to do all the runaround legwork talking to sellers, we have car sourcing options available. Cheaper packages where you have to go and see the cars physically yourself, or complete car sourcing options where we can actually locate a car for you, and you will be safe. At least you own a right car. And we look at cars and find cars as we would be buying for ourselves. So we will do all this run around and legwork, what I has been explained in the video, how important it is to get first on the right car and just then do the inspection, you know, to avoid unnecessary sort of surprises, especially if the car is older or old or your budget is tight, you know.